Today in the crypto space, we see the market kind of going sideways with a slight bounce to the upside for Bitcoin above that $27,000, almost $28,000 level. Ethereum above that $2,000 mark. As long as Ethereum stays above $2,000, we're bullish on the alts. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are pretty much a mix of green and red with some good gainers. Look at Caspa, Blur, Render, Injective, and many more. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about one project that we talked about before, and that is BIGTIME. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below or hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Guys, join the Discord. The Discord is a great community. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. Bitcoin getting a nice bounce to the upside in the last little while. Slightly above that $38,000 mark, getting a bit of a rejection and coming right back in. But it's all good. Bitcoin's looking okay, hanging out there, going sideways, giving an opportunity to the altcoins to run. As long as Bitcoin stays within this range, going sideways, chopping around, doing its thing, altcoins will continue taking full advantage of Bitcoin's nothing, basically doing nothing. Let's continue going down this market here. We see Ethereum doing okay, still climbing to the upside alongside Bitcoin. And as you see, a lot of these altcoins are taking a bit of a break. They're kind of going sideways. They're within a consolidation. Nothing really that exciting for the most part. Like, there are some good gainers today for sure, but overall it's pretty sideways. You can see a few dips, slight dips. Most of it is just based on sideways price action. Nothing too crazy here. What else do we have here? If we keep on going down, we have Caspa waking up 10%, but within its range, it's still within structure, right? So it's still doing good. 10% to the upside while the market's not really doing much is great. It's nice and healthy. However, guys, big picture, if you look at where it's at, it's still kind of going sideways within the structure. So Caspa could be gearing up for another move to the upside, or maybe building a complex structure where we eventually see maybe a bearish pattern where we might break down from. So right now we're still okay. At least it's giving us a level to watch out for, a bottom, a high, a bottom. Making that structure gives us an opportunity to put a stop loss right below so that you can protect the gains. Let's continue going. What else do we have here? We have CRO looking okay, maybe looking for a breakout to the upside. Lido, higher highs and higher lows, looking pretty good there. What else do we have here? Near protocol looks quite interesting. From a healthy risk to reward ratio opportunity, slightly higher low with a nice pullback, going sideways, consolidation, stop loss underneath consolidation gives you a healthy risk to reward ratio opportunity for near protocol. This one's looking really spicy. I would definitely cover this one tonight, guys. I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern taking requests. So if you have any projects you want me to cover on the live stream tonight at 7:30 Eastern, feel free to join and let me know about any projects you want me to cover. For now, I'm going to put near on the list, and I'll put the ones that you guys request in top priority. So let's continue now. We can see that IMX is looking okay as well. It's going sideways, potentially looking for a continuation to the upside. It's up 25%. You can see that IMX is in a bullish trend, very strong impulsive moves. So this is pretty good here to see IMX continue. Thorchain in the last little while has been taking a bit of a dip. It's absolutely normal for projects that run up hard to take a break and retrace just a little bit. So that's absolutely okay. If we get to a good level, I'll be buying more. BitTensor looking strong, of course, up 15% today, up 54% plus in the last little while, but you can see its consolidation right now. It's still within range. It is still kind of hanging out here, going sideways. So although it's up 15%, you got to understand that overall it's not really making higher highs and higher lows currently within the short-term time frames. Short time frames are showing a sideways consolidation. So let's take full advantage of these opportunities. Of course, the GRT, the graph, waking up 10% today, 21% in the last 7 days. Could this be the proof of life that we're waiting for to actually give us a signal that the graph GRT may be waking up here? It could be possible. The graph is one of those projects that when it does move and it decides to move, it really runs. So this is one of those projects very similar to Thorchain. When they move, they move. You might want to make sure that you have a bit of exposure here on the graph GRT. What else do we have here? Injective going sideways, Render kind of going sideways within range, although up 5%. EGLD not doing much, but up 6%. You can see that I'm looking for healthy risk to reward ratio opportunities. Algo's not doing that bad in the sense for a good entry. It might be trying to get an impulsive move to test the previous high, looking okay perhaps. Theta Network looking strong, maybe continuing to the upside in the next little while. Stacks, is it going to break the previous high? This is what we're up to right now. We've seen a lot of sideways price action throughout the market with not much conviction at the current moment. However, we do have some altcoins showing a massive amount of conviction. Look at Blur. Blur right now is on fire. It's 36% to the upside. Over 100% profit in the last little while. Definitely deep in the green. Trail up the stop losses, guys. Take a bit off the top and enjoy those gains. Congrats if you are a holder. Pretty good stuff there. DYDX looking okay. Slightly higher high. Maybe making a move very, very soon. What else? If we continue going down, you can see that there's not really much happening. 5%. Few dips here and there. But overall, fairly sideways. Like I mentioned, guys, the market right now is definitely an altcoin. The market generally definitely is focusing on altcoins. There's no disputing that. People, new investors, people that enter the market, if you've been around for a while, we know that the altcoins are where the magic happens. So a lot of us are just biting the bullet and focusing on alts. And of course, that's what I'm doing here on the channel. In fact, I'm going to be looking at low cap, micro cap altcoins in the next little while. That's what I'm going to be focusing on, especially on the live stream. But in the meantime, we'll be doing a lot of research, deep dives, all kinds of stuff like that so that we can prepare. And of course, on Sunday, I'm going to be releasing a very, very interesting deep dive. Feel free to make sure that you have that bell notification on so you don't miss out on that one. It should be a spicy one for sure. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. Then we'll talk about the project for today. It is called BIGTIME. Of course, BIGTIME we've talked about before. I did a deep dive. But what is Bitcoin saying about this market? Actually, it's not saying anything. Bitcoin right now taking the back seat in the sense that it's just hanging out here. And as long as it hangs out here, as long as it goes sideways or it takes its time to build its structure here on the larger time frames like the daily, we can expect that altcoins will take full advantage. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail because at the end of the day, this could give us an indication of what to expect for the alts. If Bitcoin continues here, even going up to 40K, yes, the rejection off of 40K might be a bit strong and we'll see altcoins kind of come down, but ultimately it would be in the benefit to see this thing finally, make a bigger picture structure like it has done in the past. Something like this. Throughout this whole area, throughout this entire consolidation, this is where we may see altcoins continue showing strength. Every little impulse to the upside, we'll see altcoins show strength against Bitcoin. And every dip, as long as the dips are not strong on alts and Bitcoin rolls over, we'll see the Bitcoin dominance fall. We'll see a lot of good indications that altcoins may be in an altcoin season. So this is what I'm trying to do here, guys. Prepare my portfolio, prepare the community with this mindset that ultimately Bitcoin did a great job running up over 100% from its bottom. And getting into a fresh long on Bitcoin, for me personally, is not worth it from a risk to reward ratio opportunity. If Bitcoin comes back down, back test, gets a little bit of support somewhere around the zone, we'll see where it goes, where the momentum takes us. Ultimately, getting a reset of momentum is absolutely healthy to get into fresh longs, and it gives the bulls an opportunity to pack a bigger bag. And then the spring, the actual impulse, the support that we'll get there would be absolutely epic, and it could be the catalyst that we need for the bull run to continue going to the upside, picking up more bullish bids at lower levels. Okay, so far so good. The market market's looking really strong, really healthy, and Bitcoin is giving us a bit of room here to focus on altcoins and do those deep dives and get bullish on some of those opportunities, especially those new narratives that we've been talking about here on the channel. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's take a look at BIGTIME. BIGTIME is obviously today's project, and it's one that I've covered in the past. I've done a deep dive on BIGTIME, and I feel like, you know, fundamentally it's decent, no doubt. Lots of hype, you know, on BIGTIME, especially about a month ago. There was a lot of hype, and still pretty good, very healthy community, pretty you know, interesting game. I played the game, I showed you a little bit about it. So if you're interested and you want more detail, check out that deep dive. But ultimately right now this thing is still in the sideways consolidation. You can see it hasn't really budged very much. It got a nice impulsive move to the upside and came right back down. Now, big picture, like, the reality is that some of the altcoins that have already been through this are already hitting extension levels, right? Really higher, much higher levels. Now, this could just be an accumulation phase where we see a lot of individuals just packing a bigger bag in anticipation that BIGTIME fundamentally will do very well in the bull run. And this is what we're seeing here, right? We're seeing a lot of good spikes of volume based on the volume profile, and we're seeing that it's just taking its time picking up those bullish bids, to the point that we even made a point of control here at about 14.5 cents, give or take. So that's really good. The momentum here on the RSI, on the other hand, is still in the chop zone, which leads me to believe that the bigger move has yet to come. The question is in which direction. You know, is it going to go to the overbought conditions, or is it going to go oversold? Overbought, obviously, I have a slight bias to get overbought. Reason being is that other altcoins are already severely overbought on the daily. Why not BIGTIME? Fundamentally, it's decent. Fundamentally, it's got everything going for it, right? A good team, good game in general, and good tokenomics, good everything. So go check out the deep dive to actually get fundamentally bullish, and do your research, of course. But ultimately, if this project is going to follow in the same trajectory as all the other altcoins, especially the gaming projects, this thing shouldn't have a problem hitting the previous high. That's just taking into consideration the overall market sentiment. Now, we do have some good price action here to watch out for. Very good risk to reward ratio opportunities here at the bottom. We got a nice higher low, another higher low. Obviously, if you include the wick, it doesn't look the greatest, but that's the name of the game. We closed the candle in a very nice level at a higher low as well. So we're making higher lows, and getting these nice ebb and flows to the upside, where it starts to look like an ascending megaphone, right? These types of patterns eventually are exponential. You can see that the impulses to the upside, they definitely grow over time. So the reality is that hitting the 26 cent mark is very possible. And if we do get a parabolic run where we break the previous high, we're going to see a lot of resemblance in to other projects that have already broke their previous price action. So this is something that we got to consider. Is this sideways accumulation that we're seeing here on the daily in preparation for a nice rally to the upside? And this is the thing here. You want to get in nice and early. Now, I'm not saying, obviously, none of this is financial advice, but I'm not saying you should bet the farm either. But having a bit of exposure just in case it does happen is not a bad idea. And if you look at the daily here on the MACD, EMAs are still kind of hanging out here. Nothing really decisive. No EMA cross to the upside. Pink histogram bar is still kind of here, not really doing much. So not really a good indicator. But if you get into the lower time frames, on the 4-hour, you can kind of see that we already got oversold, and we're getting oversold and trekking to overbought conditions. Now, one thing that I want to point out here and on this chart is that every time we hit the chop zone, the 50% mark of the RSI, right around here on this heart line of the RSI, you can see that when we hang out here, the price action goes sideways, nice and choppy. Right here choppy, right here choppy, right here choppy. What about right now? Do we get a bit of a rejection and hesitate right in the chop zone and kind of go choppy here for the next little while? So this is very possible here. You can see that this scenario caused like a nice rejection. It's not nice and round, right? So maybe some individuals might be calling this an inverse cup and handle. Not a really nice rounded cup, not very traditional, but maybe the sentiment is there. Let's see what kind of consolidation we get here if we break down. But ultimately, this is looking like a higher low support level, right? With a nice volume gap, we could get a nice amount of volume in here and finally break out and and make another higher high, and that will take us to a nice, very confluent zone, which is very confluent with not only this trend line, which is of course a diagonal, but also the horizontal, which is at the bottom of this volume gap that we kind of have here, that we kind of built over this nice impulse to the upside with, you know, a bit of an empty space with regards to volume, supply and demand in the zone. So if we get to the zone, this is the time to think, look, should I start defending my gains, right? If we eventually get overbought in this case, look at the MACD. The MACD is looking really great. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars to the upside, suggesting that a continuation to the upside is very, very possible here with regards to the momentum. Okay, so not bad at all so far. Lots of good confluence for continuation to the upside, and a lot of good confluence for potential rejection here. Okay, so what would I be doing if we got to this level? I wouldn't be exiting my positions. I would be trailing up a stop loss and maybe taking 10% off the top. Just in case we do continue, I have exposure. Just in case we roll over, I have a stop loss, and I have already taken a bit off the table, you know, basically reducing my position size so that I don't have too much exposure to the volatility. Now, from a bullish perspective, obviously the bearish perspective is that we, you know, inverse cup and handle and break down, but we can see that a lot of altcoins, a lot of the projects that we've been looking at lately are still so bullish. So why would big time from a fundamental perspective, you know, roll over here? It's very unlikely considering the market sentiment. So if we get back into the daily and we start looking at what could actually happen here from a bullish perspective, all we could really use is Fibonacci after this previous high. Price discovery is a very difficult place to trade, and you can only use really Fibonacci levels and nice psychological round numbers like 50 cents, $1, $2. You get my point, right? So let's use Fibonacci for a second here and consider this wick, swing high to swing low. Okay, we'll take the whole move, and then we'll start looking at where we're at. 1.27 extension level is a nice zone to consider taking profits and getting defensive. What I mean is trail up a stop loss and take a bit off the top. That's defending your gains, right? Defending your position. And then the 1.618 extension, a very, very viable place to expect profit taking, and a very psychological level at about 50 cents. Nice confluence there. So let me put some red arrows. Of course, that's what we use to kind of define the importance of some zones. And as I said, there's hard to find confluence in some of this because really there's no price action looking left. We don't have any volume. We have no bullish bids. We have nothing at all to really, what's going on here? We don't really have anything to give us anything of, you know, confidence. So we got to be very careful here with what could be happening in the next little while. But getting defensive at these zones, taking a bit of profits and doing your thing here is absolutely important, because you want to be able to cycle into other altcoins that have yet to run if we do get to that position, right? So it's all about cycling your capital and getting out when it becomes too risky. At this level, it's a lot riskier than down here, right? Because you could put a stop loss under here. Very clear invalidation. If we break to these levels, right, you're already really high and the way down is a lot more. And if we get an explosive move to the upside, let's see what kind of volume gap we leave behind, because if there's no support below, it's very likely that we see the price action roll over and come right back to where it came from. This is the issue about breakout trading. And right now, you're not really a breakout trader. You're a position trader. You're a momentum trader. You're trying to find indications that right here is a great time to build a bag, build a position for a potential impulse to the upside with regards to price action and momentum. So looking pretty good here. This is what I would be looking at here for big time in the immediate short term. And of course the 4 hours looking great, and the hourly still very, you know, choppy within this zone, you know, supporting this area for a very long time. Finally, maybe we get a nice bullish bounce to the upside. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor and slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to join me live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, that is a great time and place to make any requests for any projects that you're interested in. If you're looking for fundamentals, if you're looking for price action, that's a great time and place to make those requests. And if you want to join, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Join the Discord, guys. The Discord is a great community. Lots of good alpha, trade setup fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.